One midnight Mehul was sleeping when he gets a call. The caller tells Mehul that a murder has occurred in JP Colony. Immediately after this, the call gets disconnected.
I wonder whose call was it? I should go and check at JP Colony.
Mehul quickly puts on his clothes and grabs his revolver. He steps out of the house. In his courtyard, there was a bike, a four-wheeler, and a new bullet bike. Can you tell which vehicle Mehul will use? Let me know your answer in the comments. Pay attention, Mehul's new bullet has a flat tire, and the gear part of his bike is broken, so Mehul will go to JP Colony by car. Mehul reaches JP Colony in his car. He drives around the entire colony, but everything seems normal there.
Everything seems fine here. Did someone play a prank on me?
Mehul starts heading back home, but before reaching home, he tracks the unknown number from which he received the call. The location of that number is barely just 500 meters ahead.
Looks like that person is nearby. I'll have to catch them. Maybe I'll find out the truth.
There were 3 roads for Mehul to go forward from there. Can you tell which road Mehul will choose among the 3? Let me know your answer in the comments. Mehul won't take the first road at all because there's a four-wheeler parked in front of the house, and his car won't be able to go past through there. And the third road is quite dark and nothing is visible. And the road is also quite narrow. Taking the car from there will be difficult. Therefore, Mehul will go ahead from the second road. Mehul reaches the location of the unknown caller but is surprised to see the scene. Not just 1, but 2 dead bodies were lying down there. Mehul quickly pulls out his revolver and gets out of the car. Suddenly, someone starts firing at Mehul. To save his life, Mehul immediately hides inside the car.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Someone is firing covertly. I need to seek help from the police. I don't know the exact location of the person firing at me.
Mehul quickly dials 100. 5 minutes later, the police arrive at Mehul's location. As soon as the police arrive, Mehul immediately gets out of his car and shoots in air. But by then, the person who was firing has already escaped. The police search the nearby houses but find nothing.
No problem, officer. After all, where will he run? I'll catch him eventually, and thank you very much.
Mehul thoroughly checked the bodies. Both of them were dead from gunshot wounds. Mehul finds a purse and a mobile cell phone in the pocket of the other person. When Mehul checks the phone, Mehul's number was dialed recently.
This same person called me, and it seems like they killed him too.
Mehul thoroughly checks the purse and finds some documents in it. The man's name was Thomas, and he was a security guard at a private company. By then an ambulance also arrived there. Mehul kept both the dead bodies in an ambulance and sent them to Dr. Sanjana's lab. Mehul also leaves from there. There were 3 routes from JP Colony to Dr. Sanjana lab. The first route goes through the cremation ground. But at night, no one comes from there, because ghosts and scary witches roam around there. The second route goes through the jungle. However, the jungle route is occupied by lions, cheetahs, and wild bears. The car could collide with them, and they could get hurt. Generally, the jungle road remains empty at night. The third route leads to the main road, but this route is quite long. Can you tell which route Mehul will choose among the 3? Let me know your answer in the comments. The third route is quite long, and there is a risk of going on the second route, because animals roam there and they could get hurt. Therefore, Mehul will take the first route because there are no spooky things like ghosts and witches. And Mehul is not among those who get scared easily. Mehul takes the first route and after a while he reaches the lab. The lab door is locked and it opens with a logical password. Potato, tomato, chili, lady finger. Among these 4, there is an odd one out. Can you tell which button Mehul should press? These are all vegetables, but except for potatoes, the peel of other vegetables does not need to be removed, whereas potatoes are always peeled. Mehul presses a button and the lab door opens. Mehul goes inside the lab. Mehul places both dead bodies inside the lab.
Calling Dr. Sanjana at this late hour wouldn't be right. Also, she gets tired after working all day. I'll wait until tomorrow morning.
Mehul leaves the dead bodies inside the lab and returns home. Then falls asleep. The next morning at 9 o'clock, Mehul wakes up.
I'm late. Dr. Sanjana must have already reached the lab.
Mehul quickly gets ready and reaches the lab. But upon seeing the scene inside the lab, Mehul is surprised. Everything inside the lab was in a mess, and Dr. Sanjana was sitting on a chair, talking to someone on her cell phone. Mehul approaches Dr. Sanjana.
Dr. Sanjana, how did all this happen? Who did it?
I have no idea, Mehul. Morning when I arrived here, someone had already wrecked the place and left.
Mehul immediately rushed inside the lab, but the dead bodies of Thomas and the other man were missing.
Oh shoot, someone has taken away the dead bodies. It seems they are very powerful as they had wrecked the lab and took the dead bodies, but I won't let them go.
Mehul immediately heads towards that company in his car, the address of which was written on Thomas's ID card. After a while, Mehul reaches the company location, but there were 3 private companies there, and none of them had any names written.
What's going on here? No one has a name written on them.
Can you tell me which company Mehul will go into out of the 3? Please let me know your answer in the comments. There are security guards outside the first and third companies, but there is no security guard in the second company, and the security guard's chair outside the second company is also empty. This means Thomas must be the security guard in this company, and since he is dead, the chair is empty. Mehul enters the second company and asks the manager.
Manager, I'm Detective Mehul. Tell me honestly, what do you know about the security guard Thomas here?
The manager tells that Thomas was previously a security guard in the third company. All 3 companies here belong to the same owner, and just a few days ago Thomas was transferred to this company. But for the past 2 days, Thomas has been missing, and no one knows his whereabouts.
Your security guard Thomas didn't just disappear. Someone made him disappear. He has been murdered.
Hearing this, the manager there is shocked and tells Mehul.
Well, since I joined this company, I've also been feeling something fishy. I work here during the day, and at night, the manager Mr. Henry stays here, and Thomas used to do the night shifts.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. There must be some connection.
Mehul asks the manager for Mr. Henry's address and sets out from there in his car. On the way, Mehul spots a juice vendor.
I haven't ate anything since morning. Duty comes first, but taking care of my health is also very important.
Mehul arrives at the juice shop. There was a logical question written on the juice shop, and whoever gives the correct answer will get a free glass of juice along with a paid one. Can you tell what number will come in the blank space here? Quickly put your mind to it and comment your answer. The first number will remain as it is. Just like in the first one, 1 remained 1, and then, the third number will be minus the second number. Like 9 to 2 will become 7. That's why the answer was 17 in the first equation. In the second one, it became 13. In the third one, it became 32. Similarly, in the fourth one, the first number will become 5, and the second number will be 5 minus 7 is equal to 2. So the code will be 52. Mehul gives the correct answer to this and gets another glass of juice for free. After drinking 2 glasses of juice, Mehul arrives at Mr. Henry's house. Seeing Henry's house, Mehul becomes completely disheartened.
Mr. Henry seems to be very rich. There are 3 cars parked outside the house, and it's a VIP bungalow. Now, how does so much money comes to the manager owning a small private company?
Mehul knocks on the door, and the housekeeper comes out.
I need to meet the owner of this house.
The housekeeper tells Mehul that the owner is currently getting a massage. Mehul immediately enters the house, and inside, Mr. Henry was comfortably getting a massage.
While you had been getting a massage here, Thomas was murdered out there. Now, your next massage appointment will be at jail, and that too with the police's baton.
Upon questioning, Mr. Henry reveals the whole truth.
Sir, we supply alcohol and weapons along with the company's manufacturers, which earns us a lot more money. But Thomas and another colleague from the company saw us, so we got them murdered.
With Mr. Henry's acquaintees, Mehul apprehends all those involved in this crime. He hands them over to the police. Case solved. Detective Mehul rocks. While traveling along the highway, Detective Mehul noticed a man lying on the road. When he went to check on the man, he discovered that he had already died.
How could someone be killed on the highway, especially so far from town?
Mehul goes to the nearest toll booth and inquires about all of the vehicles that have passed through it today. 3 vehicles passed through the toll today. Mehul contacted all 3 owners and thoroughly inspected their automobiles from the inside out. This is car 1. This is car 2. This is car 3. After inspecting the cars, Mehul realizes who committed the murder. Can you guess? Take your time and leave your answer in the comments section. Let's have a look at the answers. Take a close look at the second vehicle. A red glove is lying in the corner, and the other glove in the pair is in the dead man's hand. That's how Mehul understands that the owner of the second car committed the murder. Larry calls Detective Mehul in a haste to inform that his wife Serena had committed suicide. Mehul reaches the crime scene instantly. He examines the crime scene carefully, while Larry informs him that they had been in an ugly fight. Serena pulled out a poison pill bottle and consumed it, which became the cause of her death. Detective Mehul extracts the bottle and sends it to the lab for further testing. The lab in charge confirmed that it was in fact Serena's fingerprints on the bottle, and the pills that she consumed are the contents of this bottle. But this isn't a suicide, but a murder. By looking at Serena's fingerprints on the bottle, can you guess why did the lab in charge think so? Comment down your answer below. Let's now look answer. Notice that the fingerprints can only be seen on the bottle and not on the cap. Then how did she open the container? This means that Larry has strategically placed her fingerprints all over the bottle but did not do so for the cap. Hence, he was caught. Let's now jump to the next riddle. Daniel has been murdered in his own home. This incident occurs around 4 p.m. His wife calls Detective Mehul to her home right away. Mehul arrives there and thoroughly inspects every corner of the house, but he doesn't find anything. He then questions the maid and the cook. The maid says,
I went to Sir's room around 3:30 to give coffee. I didn't go back after that.
The cook says,
I never go to Daniel Sir's room. I was preparing dinner in the kitchen.
Daniel's wife explains,
I went to his room around 3:45. He was working on his computer and drinking his coffee at the time. Later, at 3:50 p.m., I went back to my room.
Mehul immediately realizes who must have committed the murder. How? Think and tell us your answer through comments. Let's see the answer. When Daniel's wife returned to her room at 3:50, the coffee mug was on Daniel's table. However, when he was killed, the coffee mug was not on the table, and only the maid could take it away. The cup can also be seen on the dining table. This means the maid killed Daniel when she went to his room to take the cup. Mehul immediately catches her. Let's see the next riddle.